Hey everyone! I actually got a request to do a video on how I apply my foundation, and my foundation that I use is Revlon Colorstay in Toast. I don't have a MAC or a Makeup Forever foundation, so this is what I use. It's a pretty good foundation for a drugstore brand. And so yeah, so I'm just going to show you how I apply that today. So let's get started. Okay, so I already have my primer on, and before you apply your foundation, make sure you moisturize your face, apply your primer. Most of the time I just moisturize my face with sunblock, and this is just a Banana Boat SPF 50, just because I take SPF very seriously, and having SPF 50, I mean, that's good protection. So that's what I use. I know a lot of people use different kinds of moisturizers, so it's completely up to you, whatever works best for you. Primer, I use Givenchy's Mr. Matte, which is, it's actually preferably for oily skin. I don't have oily skin. When I do get a little oily, though, it's usually on my forehead, so I just apply this to the areas where I would normally get, you know, some oil buildup. But I know there are mixed reviews for this. This is just a sample, obviously, so that's why I'm using it. And I don't have a Smashbox or a Makeup Forever primer, but those are good ones that I hear about all the time. So yeah, make sure you have a primer. And I already concealed my under eye circles, and I use Makeup Forever's Camouflage Concealer Palette, and this is in number 4 with the orange at the end. Depending on your skin tone, there's different kinds of palettes, and the makeup artist at Sephora that was helping me out pick out the right camouflage palette, she said that they're coming out with individual ones, because there's a lot of people that just get the palette for like this color or the green in another palette. I can't remember. I know there's a green, there's a purple, and there's an orange, and they might be coming out with just individual concealers. So yeah, but this one's a good concealer. It's very light, and I usually just take a damp sponge just to smooth it out a little bit. And yeah, so on to the foundation application. Revlon Colorstay is, I believe it's a full coverage foundation, but even though it's a full coverage foundation, if I don't put concealer, I don't feel like my under eye circles are covered entirely. So I just put a little concealer and then put this on top. Okay, so the way I apply it, I just use, okay, one thing about this foundation is that it doesn't have a pump, as you can see. So what I do, you can put it on a CD, or you can put it on the back of your hand, or any tray, or whatever that you like using. I just use the back of my hand, so what I just do is just take that, and like I kind of tilt it just so I don't get too much product. And there you go. And as you can see, it's pretty dark, but when I apply it on my skin, it doesn't look as like drastically dark as that. And so what I use, my brush, is the 187, which is the stippling brush from MAC. I know a lot of people prefer the 188 because it's a lot smaller and denser, and it's easier to cover up the small areas. So whichever you're comfortable with, I just like using my 187. And so what I do is just kind of get the foundation onto the tips of my stippling brush, just like that. I don't know if you can see that. Just on the edges. You don't want too much product, you just gradually add more. And so what I do is just I stipple and then swirl. You guys should check out Enkore's video on applying foundation with a stippling brush, but that's pretty much what I do. So I just stipple into my skin. And then do not forget to apply it to your neck too. You want to blend it down so you don't have this line of demarcation. And I like doing like sections of my face at a time. So at this point I got, you know, the area that I want stippled, and this is when I start to swirl. And just like that, just want to blend it out. Oh, little baby hairs. So just want to blend that in to your skin. So I'm going to continue with the rest of my face. Remember to take the product and make sure it's on the edges of the brush and just stipple. Make sure, especially in my case because I already applied my concealer, make sure to blend your foundation into the concealer that you applied, just so you don't see any harsh lines. Okay, and now I'm just going to do the forehead. And I think I actually put a little too much product, but that's okay. So same thing, stipple and then swirl. And the key to applying liquid foundation, specifically this foundation, is you don't want to pick up too much product. Take as little as possible and then, you know, gradually add more. And there you go. Okay, and so lastly, I set my foundation with CoverGirl's True Blend Minerals, and this is in, where is it? There you go, translucent medium. I believe this is like $8-9, I can't remember. But I use this to set my foundation. I also use this powder for catching fallout. Like when you do like a smoky eye, I apply some of it over here on top of my cheek just to help with getting rid of fallout. And so what I do is I just shake it in there. I use the little puffy pad that it comes with. You could use a brush if you'd like. It doesn't matter, just as long as you don't forget to set your foundation. It definitely makes a difference, and it makes your foundation last longer. So I just like pat that on all over my face and down to my neck, of course. And so that's about it. And a little bit about the Revlon Colorstay. I know they come in 2 different skin types. This one's the normal dry skin. I believe they have one for oily skin, so you definitely want to check that out. They do have a bunch of shades to choose from. And coverage wise, I think it covers really, really well. I don't, however, use this to completely cover up under eye circles. I feel like I have to use a little bit of concealer, but other than that, it definitely evens out discolorations. And so just as long as you have a good brush to apply the foundation, I think you can really make it work for you. Just remember to add the product gradually and don't take too much product. And for those of you who don't, you know, use brushes, I'm sure you can use a damp sponge as well. But make sure to make the sponge damp, because that definitely evens out the foundation, and it makes it a little more blendable, and it's not, you know, too thick on your skin. And so yeah, that's about it, and I hope this was helpful for some of you. If you have any questions, feel free to message me, leave a comment below, and thanks for watching.